Welcome to Rebecca Magic Channeling, or should I say Rebecca Love Magic, or Rebecca Magic Love. What feels better to me? Rebecca Magic Love, because I want it always to end and then begin again with love. So the reason I started off by talking about my name there was because I'm making some big changes in my life, and I know a lot of you are as well right now, and always. We're always changing. Change is the only constant. Keeping my cards close here. Hey, good to see you. So I wanted to connect and talk about the idea of neutralizing energy through ritual. Rituals, like spells, spells and rituals are kind of the same thing. We can use physical objects. We don't have to. We can just do a ritual all in our mind, and it's just as real. But the point is, we're intentionally creating something. We're carrying an intention, and we are sitting with it, and we are envisioning it. We are taking the first step to bring it into materialization. And so this video, I'm specifically discussing the act of performing these rituals with the idea of neutralizing energetic patterns. What do I mean by this? I mean, there are things that we adopt, belief systems, thoughts, and then we form habits around them. We form our belief systems around these certain ideas. We begin to act from this place. We form these habits, and then we become these ideas. We become a representation, a living representation of these ideas. So when we become aware of what our patterns are, what our habits are, and we're on the road to healing and to clearing them, which I believe many of us are on. I believe that we're at a pivotal point right now as well. I believe that a lot of clarity has just been achieved. I know that the rains in the desert here are one reflection of that. And there are reflections all around me that are letting me know this is exactly where we're at. We have just received some information, some missing puzzle pieces, and now we're ready to move forward. What is the first step? Ritual can be such a special tool at this time. Always, but especially at this time. So now we're aware of our habits, and we want to shift them. We want to reverse them. We want to clear that energy, and we want to have a fresh slate. We want to move forward with the most awareness, and we want to move in the direction of who it is we want to be, not who we've been. And even if you're still wanting to maintain a lot of the same characteristics or embody the same truths, that's fine. Use the ritual then as a renewal. But for a lot of us, we're experiencing a total shattering of who we were and a rebuilding of who we want to be. So what we can do is look at the habits and then form a ritual that promotes the opposite. So I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to throw myself under the bus here. I'm going to use myself as an example because I think that the example I'm going to share with you about my personal path is highly relatable. An idea that I've been attached to is that I need to protect myself. Protection. And I just became very aware of this in a huge way the past couple of days. And now, as I move through my physical world, I'm seeing all these little symbols and totems that I've surrounded myself with because I believed that I needed protection. First of all, this reveals a lack of belief in the perfection of the divine design. This reveals a lack of my belief in my own everlasting protection. It's like I'm creating the thing that I don't want by obsessing over it. And I'm realizing this more and more by looking at my present reality, my material reality, because this is the ritual. Our whole life is the ritual. Everything that we're doing, every thought, every step we take, every action we take, it's all the ritual. So look around. There are clues everywhere. Whether you've received the clarity or not yet, it is yours to be had right now. Just look around at your reality, your physical reality. What are the little totems you have all around you? What is the theme behind them? What is your physical reality telling you about yourself and your thoughts and your beliefs? So I'm looking at my altar, right, and I'm resetting it today. And I see all these protection symbols, all these protection totems. I see all kinds of stones and crystals, which I've gotten rid of almost my entire collection this past year. But it's interesting to see which little ones I've held on to. They're almost all stones of protection. I've got black tourmaline, black kyanite. I have smoky quartz. I've got a ton of tiger's eye. I have beyond crystals. I've got a little evil eye that I've held on to for years. It's like a tiny little charm that is a blue glass. It's like a blue glass bead, and I've carried that tiny little thing so far across the country multiple times. Even I'm pretty sure it's traveled with me out of the country as well. So what is this thing that I'm carrying? Because it's not about the thing, it's what's behind the thing. I'm carrying this obsession of protection. I've gone overboard. And so I was looking at my altar, and I have Isis always on my altar, and she's my centerpiece. And one day I'm sure that'll change, but she's been the consistent one there, and I still want to keep her there. But I was thinking, what do I want to take off, and what do I want to put on the altar? What am I trying to neutralize? What patterns am I trying to let go of? And then I see at her feet all of these symbols of protection. And I've created a barrier. I've created a wall. It wasn't to keep anything from coming at me. It was to keep things from coming out of me. It was a barrier to giving and receiving love. And so I realized in a huge way that like we all do, we form these identities based on our beliefs about our world, right? And then we set that as our foundation. This is who I am, right? And then every thought that we form, every observation as we move about our reality becomes attached to that foundation. That foundation is even the lens that we're looking at our reality from. So at my foundation of who I thought I was this hermit archetype, basically. I love my solitude and I love my own world and I don't want anything to threaten that. So I, deep down, set up this program where if anything threatens that world, it's not safe, it's not okay, I can't open up to it and I can't receive from it whatever gift it's trying to offer. And this is what shaped my reality, was my belief around this idea that I am this hermit, that I am this being. And I don't want to just stop there. And I've been doing this for years and years, you guys. Years and years. So it's a huge release right now. It's a huge shift to have this realization. And so one way that I broke it down was I thought, okay, the tarot, I love the tarot. All of the faces in the deck are like the many faces of the Godhead, and they are like all of the archetypes that we can embody in any moment. But the point is to stay present and choose the ones that are going to be the most efficient tools for whatever experience we're going through at that present time, right? But most of the time, and I'm praying now, my vision is that we break this, most of the time, we stick to one and we get so comfortable in the skin of that being, that archetype, and we forget that this is where we're moving from and that we need to actually constantly remain fluid, embodying all of the different archetypes depending on what's right around us. And that, what's right around us, is always changing. So our faces should always be changing. Our characteristics. We're always meant to embody different characteristics because we're not always meant to be, firm and strong. Sometimes we need to be soft. We're not always meant to walk on eggshells, like the Seven of Swords. Sometimes we're meant to open up to a new beginning in communication, like the Knight of Cups, to communicate our heart. So there's a time to hold back and there's a time to let loose. There's a time to be physically strong and there's a time to be emotionally strong. There's a time to go inward, to experience solitude. Maybe when you're needing to tune into your core to really ask yourself, what is my intuition trying to tell me? Maybe you're trying to make a very important decision. And the star card comes up for you in a reading. And you're meant to embody the star. And that's the Aquarian card of the deck. And that is going into yourself, finding your center, and healing in that solitude, and then reemerging into the world as the star of your own show. Other times, and also that could be the hermit, by the way. And other times we're meant to connect with the world and put ourselves out there, like the Five of Wands, a healthy competition, creating friction that is actually healthy, putting ourselves on the line, bumping heads with others, because sometimes that's what we need to do. We need to open up to other people's ideas and concepts. And like I said, the star is the opposite of that. It's about getting in touch with yourself. So as you can see, there are many different archetypes. All these archetypes embody different characteristics, and we find that it's in our best interest to remain fluid and remain present. And if we only do that, we will know in each moment which archetypes, which characteristics can help us get through with the most grace and the most ease. So I'm letting go of this idea that I'm the hermit. I'm not. I'm all of the faces. And I choose to move through life with the goal of being the most present that I can in each moment, so that I can most clearly make the decision of what I am needing to embody. So what I'm going to do for my rituals tonight, because I'm about to do some really cool rituals tonight. One of them is I'm going to go around and I'm going to remove all of those damn items. I'm going to take away all of those stones of protection, the evil eye. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Maybe I'll just give them away. Maybe I'll bury them. I'm not sure yet what the ritual is going to be, but I really wanted to share this with you while I was inspired, so you can feel my passion. And it can go any way. You can do whatever ritual you want. It's up to you. What do you feel? It's all about belief. It's all about perception. Reality is perception. It starts here, and then we see it out here. So for me, I would say one option could be to bury them, but that doesn't feel right to me because I know it's always there. Physical location doesn't really mean that much to me. So I think I'd like to give them away to those people who I feel could use more of that energy of being self-aware and protecting themselves, because there's no one else to do it for you. It's within you. That protection is always within you everywhere we go. So I'm going to find places or people that are needing these stones, and that's where I'm going to relocate them. And I think that maybe some will get tossed in the water. But yeah, like even prayers that I've put on doorways, I've done like energetic prayers of like, okay, here's the waterfall of protection that I'm setting, and so it is, and so it shall forever be. Well, I'm going to have to go through the doorways now, and I'm going to have to neutralize those prayers. And the way that I'm going to do that is by just acknowledging that I'm always protected and that I shouldn't stick to any one thought or any one idea. So I'm not going to stick to this idea that I need to be protected. I'm not going to stick to this idea that I'm the hermit. I'm not sticking to anything. I'm moving. I'm flowing. I'm like water. So I think water is the key element right now for all of us in our process. Whatever we're going through, I think that water is the thing right now. Water is the healing element. They're all within us always, but there's a priority order, just like the cards, just like the faces. And so I believe that, you got it, Carrie. So I believe that the order in which we consider the elements is also important. We need to consider how are we using the elements, and what is the one that is the most healing for our situation right now as an individual and as a collective. And so, water. Healing waters. Anything that you can do with water to heal yourself right now, do it. Use water in your neutralizing rituals. Find what your habits are. If you don't want them anymore, then do your rituals with the intention of neutralizing those habits. Think of the opposite. Think of the opposite and infuse your life with whatever that is to bring the energy back to neutrality. So, I'm going to write a little bit about my experience if anybody is interested in hearing about it. I'll go into a little more detail right now about this realization I had about my accepting this archetype of the hermit as my true being, like the be-all and end-all for me. So what that did, me forming that as my foundation, this is who I am the hermit. I started acting from that place. I started creating a reality from that place. And what was happening in my body every time something threatened that little world of my solitude was I would tighten up. My body would tense up. And those things stay. Our bodies are water, mostly water. And you know what happens with water? It records everything. And so these imprints live in our bodies. And then it even comes out to our muscles and our skin, and then these things happen to us physically as a result of that, as a reflection of that. And so my body was doing this, just so tight, everything, like my expression and everything was just so restricted. And so then my soul did that too, because when it happens to one body, it happens to all of the bodies in reflection. My emotional body, my mental body, my spiritual body was very tight. It was so like closed up and like, oh my God, I'm holding on to all this tension. And I wasn't even aware of it. I wasn't even aware of it because it's very sneaky. The thing that we're needing to heal is not going to just be so easily found. Otherwise, the value of it is not going to be worthy. So I wasn't even aware that I was doing this. And when we clench up like that and we resist allowing things to be expressed, whether they're emotions or thoughts, ideas, when we hold those things in, they build up and they do create physical problems like skin problems or weight issues or whatever it is. We begin to see it in our physical body. And every emotion that we have creates a chemical reaction in our body, and those chemicals, those hormones build up. And when we aren't open to releasing them, they just build and build and build and cause more tension, and it's almost like they putrefy. They make you sick. They make you sick. They want to be released. These hormones want to be released. There's a reason that this process naturally occurs. There's a reason that for every emotion we have this chemical response in our body because it's wanting to be released into the world, into the environment. This is our body's intelligent way of communicating with our environment and receiving information from our environment as well. Our bodies know how to communicate things through its process, through its many processes, better than we can ever put into words. When you feel love and you don't express it, that builds up in there. And then the communication that you're in love is held back. And the beings that are wanting to receive that love can't even receive it. They can't even receive the love. And they're confused. They don't understand, what's going on. But when you do release those hormones, then that message is communicated in a way that is so real, in a way that is more real than your words could ever say, because it's felt, because it's literally received, because you exude that love through hormones, and then that person is in the environment physically, and maybe you can't see that hormone, but it's there physically, it's very real, and then that person receives it on a physical level, and as it seeps into them, it then affects all of their other bodies, because like I said, when it affects your physical body, it then affects all of your other bodies. So that person literally receives your love. Whether you're saying it or not, you're letting it flow. They take it in, and then their physical body processes it, their emotional body, their mental body, their spiritual body, and that love, what happens to that love then when you let it go? It goes right back to the self, because their spiritual body is one with your spiritual body. We share one spiritual collective body. So what are you afraid of? What am I afraid of? What have I been afraid of this whole time in letting go of my love, like letting it go? It's coming from an infinite source, and I've always been able to conceptualize that, but now I get it. Now I get it on a deeper level, and I'll continue to get it more and more deeply, because that's what life is. Right? That's what life is. So I know now, and I'm going to reaffirm over and over, that when I open to give my love fully, that whole process is going to happen. And not only is it going to positively affect those around me, it's going to go right through them and back to me, which is also them, which is our source. So you give love and you get love immediately. There is no difference. That love that you give is the love that you receive. You're giving it to yourself. So why would we ever hold back? That's what I've been asking myself. Why did I do that? But it's okay. It's beautiful. I know why, actually. Because hindsight is 20/20, right? So let your love pour out. Express your emotions, because them sitting in there is not doing any good. Allow them to come out so that they can be communicated and received by none other than yourself, because there is no other. It's all self-communication, and we need to be honest with ourselves always. And stagnation is disease. We have to be like flowing water. Where water is still, there's disease. Where water is stagnant, there is disease. We need to be like the water and flow. This is why I said water is the main element as a key to our healing right now, as individuals and as a collective. So let it wash over you and through you and back out and again and again and again in a reflection of the cycles of life. So I am going to go ahead and begin my rituals in a moment here. I would love to hear what rituals you guys are doing to neutralize the patterns that you've become aware of. What patterns have you just been made aware of that you've maybe been carrying out unconsciously? What have you been doing that, of course it was for your best or it wouldn't have been happening, but what have you been doing that we can release now because it's no longer serving us and adopt something better in its place? What are you being made aware of now that you're ready to let go? Let's do some rituals. Let's do some rituals to neutralize it. Let's make it real, fast. Let's work. Let's do this. Let's move forward. I don't want to wait around. If I'm here, if I'm doing this thing on this earth, I'm doing this thing, and I don't want to waste time. Efficiency is key to our collective healing. Key. And something that we can learn about the Aries energy and that pioneering energy and that moving forward energy is, yeah, we do need to acknowledge our emotions. We absolutely need to express them. I think I made that clear. But there's also a time for cutting the cord and letting it go and moving on. Because then it becomes wasteful to dwell on energies. Then it becomes the opposite of our healing. And then it takes us over, and then whatever we create from there is born of attachment. No, let's move forward. Let's do this. Let's do what feels good. And let's make a creation of that. So protection. I'm no longer afraid. I don't necessarily think I was afraid before, but I created that out of this idea that I needed to protect myself. So I'm releasing the need to protect myself. I'm releasing the need to put up a wall. There is no wall. That wall was an illusion. I don't even need to say this because I feel like it's already happened. Through my realizing it, it's gone. This is how good I feel about it right now. This is how good I want you to feel about neutralizing your whatever situations you're wanting to let go of. I know that if this is happening for me, that it can and will happen for you too. No more protection. There's no one I need to be protected from. If everything is the self, then what the hell have I been doing? I need to use all that energy that I've been putting into protection and solitude and being a hermit. And I need to take all of that energy, all that power, and power in the form of thoughts and emotions. I need to gather that up, lasso it back in, and use that in a positive way that's more in alignment with what I'm wanting to attract right now. So no more wasting my energies on this idea that I'm this hermit and I need to hide away. Who cares? Maybe I am. Yes, I am at some points, and so are you, because that is one of the faces within us. But I'm all the faces. And I'm tired of that same old story. So I'm writing a new one. And this story is refreshing. Cleansing. Purifying. What it feels like to release my need for protection and my need for solitude is incredibly liberating and incredibly feminine and watery. And I feel so ready to give and receive love in a whole new way. I feel ready to release my need to control everything. I feel ready to release all of that contraction. I'm expanding. I'm surrendering. I'm opening. I feel soft. Things aren't going to bother me as much as they were. I thought I wasn't taking things personally. Damn, I was on a very sneaky level. I really tricked myself there. I was taking shit way too personally. So I'm ready to cut that out, and I'm ready to just throw it to the wind. I'm ready to be way more fluid and adaptable. What I value has become a lot clearer through this experience of life, and it will continue to be, and it will continue to change because our values change. Certain ones will stay, our core values, but there are others that will shift as we shift. So my values now, what I value has become very clear to me. What I want to prioritize has become very clear. And what this has done to make it easier in this process of healing is it has allowed me to see those things that I was protecting so much, even if they were to be jeopardized, even if they were to be destroyed, it would be worth the sacrifice, because what I want is so much more fulfilling than what I was trying to protect. What I was protecting and guarding was my own heart from receiving any love and from giving it to. I was super cold, you guys. I've been really cold and just controlling on every level, from the deepest part of me that I can even fathom to this physical reality. I've been controlling, and I didn't even realize it. You know, for example, I would think that I would want things a certain way, and so I would program this thing in me that's like, okay, this is how things need to be. So then if something wasn't in that order, I'm really good at internalizing, so I wouldn't let anybody necessarily know, but inside what was happening was I'd be like, God, like, even on a subconscious level, it wasn't even conscious. What was happening was my body was feeling this like, oh God, like something's not right, something's not in order, something's wrong. And then that creates anxieties and all these things, and all of a sudden I'm feeling like shit and I have no idea where it's coming from. Now I know, and I'm so grateful for that. I don't want to be controlling. The shit that I was controlling and the shit that I was protecting is so not worth it. That is so ready to be sacrificed. That is so ready to be washed away. Because what I want is so much more powerful than those things that I was trying to protect. And I'm so grateful for all the lessons to open up my eyes to this. But yeah, it's helping so much, because I realize that those things that I want are not going to come from behaving the way that I've been behaving and thinking the way that I've been thinking and acting the way I've been acting. I'm right away making changes, you guys. As the words are about to leave my mouth, I'm like, oh, that's the controlling Rebecca. That's the protective Rebecca. That's the hermit, the false hermit Rebecca. And then I become aware and I hold it back and I say no. And it's not suppression at that point. It's very aware. It's very intentional. So at that point I say no, I'm not going to choose to be that anymore. I'm going to say something that's neutralizing those old beliefs. I'm going to, instead of being even bothered by something, I'm going to say, wow, I was about to express that I was bothered about this thing. And instead, not only am I not going to express it, I'm going to look within and reflect and say, that shouldn't even bother me. Why is that bothering me? I want to be softer with my words. I want to be more gentle. I want to carry this feminine energy into everything that I do. I just want to be available to give and receive love for whoever comes across my path that needs my love, or whoever is offering it. I want to receive it. I want to receive it because I don't have to be afraid. There's nothing to protect myself from. If somebody's wanting to give me love, then I trust that within my design, I will receive it for my highest good, in a way that is for my highest good, which means your highest good, because it's our highest good. It's one. So that's already innate. We have that design already. So what do we have to fear in opening up? Yeah, the sacrifice has already been done in one dimension or another, because whatever ritual I can do right now will only push me forward. The process has already begun. It's already begun. I can feel it. It's like with so much grace and ease, I can let go of those things that I was protecting, because it's foolish to me at this point. When I look at that, when I reflect and I think, oh, like maybe a week ago I would have looked at those things I was protecting and I would have thought, yeah, I better continue to protect this shit. I don't ever want to lose this. And now the experiences that I've just gone through have opened up my eyes to, and I'm so grateful, have opened up my eyes to see, oh, that thing that I've been protecting? Screw that. Whoa. Get that out of here. That is ridiculous. I've been blocking myself from receiving the thing that I want, and I was living in this in-between stage, this confused stage for a while. I feel like for months, like maybe years. I mean, yeah, definitely years. Everything is connected, so the seed of this has been planted a long time ago, and it's just been growing and building, and I'm so grateful to have gone through that like toroidal field, and now I'm on the other side, And there will always be another challenge, but right now this is where I'm at, and this is the point that is relevant. It's that new beginning. And wow, I'm done. Goodbye to those things that I was protecting. And Thank you, experiences, for giving me the clarity to know what it is that I really want, to set those new intentions. With this upcoming new moon, I'm excited, you guys. It's going to be a really powerful one. It's only growing and growing in power, and it's so profound. So let go of those things that you've been protecting. Now we know how silly that is. Now we know that you're just blocking yourself from receiving those things that you really want anyway. Let go of that silly shit and make the space for those things to come in. And stay aware, because they're going to come in real fast if you do this, especially if you're doing these rituals and you're doing the work and you're holding the intention. Stay aware, stay present, look for the signs. Look for the Eight of Wands. That is the card of signals. And be sure to act on them, because Wands is fire, it's spirit, spontaneity. Make sure you're looking for them so that you can receive them and then act upon them. Let go of those things you're protecting and make the space. Thank you, monsoons, by the way, for aiding in this process, and to all of the elements for working with us in harmony as we continue on this path of alchemy. We're all alchemists. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. I love that quote. And this is an evident truth. Any which way we look in our reality, whether we're looking inward or outward, this truth is ever present. So what are we going to do but continue to transform? That's all we can do. So how can we make the process the most graceful, with the least amount of crisis, in support of each other, because we're all going through it? How can we look to the caterpillar and the butterfly for inspiration? How can we look to nature for inspiration? So let's transform. We got this. Check out my latest writings if you haven't yet. They're all over my wall. I also have a few new videos on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed yet, please do, because if you subscribe, you'll get a handy-dandy notification every time I randomly get the inspiration to make a video. So subscribe for updates. Just stay tuned, man. Tune in. I'm sending you guys all of the strength and support to move through whatever it is you're moving through right now. To let go of that thing that you were so fiercely protecting, to make space for whatever wants to enter in the way that is for our highest good as one. My next video I'm about to make is going to be a tarot reading. I just want to separate it from this one, so whoever's watching, thank you. I appreciate you, and if you want to join in the tarot reading, I'm going to be starting now. All right, you all. Many blessings.